amigos del Universal Deportes y de 10 Sports. Hoy nos encontramos con el piloto Tyler Reddick. Es el campeón de la Daytona 500. Tyler, how does it feels to be a Daytona 500 champion?
It's a dream come true, honestly. I would sit with my parents and watch a lot of NASCAR races. We would always watch the Daytona 500. So to be able to break through and win in the fashion that we did, for my family, for my partners, for my owners, and then just so many members of my team have been doing this for a very long time. I've raced for many years at this point, but members of my team have been in the sport in NASCAR for decades and have never won the race. So just to be able to deliver for everyone involved is what it's all about.
And that was an incredible race. Could you have ever imagined an ending like that at Daytona?
In the conversations I've had since that Sunday, it just seems so fitting that it went down that way. For me, and a lot of the super speedway races I've won in my racing career have all been very chaotic, things happening on the last lap, etc. So for me, yeah, it just seems very fitting that it was that kind of an ending and we end up winning.
What went through your mind when you saw the last lap crash? Because that was the exact moment you secured the win.
Yeah, I mean, when we took the white flag, what went through my mind is I thought I was going to have a radiator go through my windshield when Eric Jones came spinning across the racetrack with Hocevar. So I thought in the moment the yellow was going to come out fairly quick. So I was trying to, get in front of Ricky Stenhouse. And Chase was obviously top of three wide too. So yeah, we had a moment there where I thought just waiting for my spotter to call caution. The caution never came as the drivers that spun didn't hit anything down below the racing line. So at that point, it was just a matter of resetting as fast as I could, and thankfully getting a push from my teammate Riley Herbst, and then just trying to. Basically, there was no plan when I got to turn three. When I got a run on Zane Smith, it was just whatever it took to get by him, and I did that. And it's kind of the same thing with Chase. There was no plan. It was just pretty much wasn't going to accept anything but a win at that point. I was willing to sacrifice everything to get it done.
Taylor, last year was very difficult for you and your family, but you have started this season with a win. So how does that feel?
It's very this year I've told my team, I've told a number of people that this year is about redemption, and in a lot of ways we're on the right path already for that. 2025 in a lot of ways, professionally, personally, was a very difficult year. We did not win a race in 2025, and for me, the driver that I believe that I am, the team that I believe I drive for, that's just beyond unacceptable. And so we had a lot of tough conversations about that this past off season, and it was really satisfying to be able to start the year this way. Personally, everything that my son Rookie was going through. He was in the hospital for 29 days straight. Going in there because of heart failure, and then the days that we spent understanding our son has heart failure, but waiting to understand what the root cause of it was extremely stressful for my whole family, my wife in particular as a mother. And so yeah, just that whole process took a lot. Just it's a heavy toll, and we were very fortunate we were able to get through that. And we had great doctors, great care. Levine's Children's Hospital went above and beyond to do everything they could for Rookie. And so, again, just full circle, right? Being in victory lane, looking up at my family, looking up at my team. There's the Harley Gerald Trophy. And to the left of that Harley Gerald Trophy is my wife. And in my wife's arms is our young son, Rookie, who has got the biggest smile on his face. His eyes are as wide as they could be for what should typically be his last nap of the day in that window. He's just wide awake, celebrating with everybody else. Makes it all worth it.
I'm glad to hear your baby is doing well. Has he become your biggest motivation heading into this season?
Absolutely. For me, he was he was basically the only thing kind of keeping me going when I was in the car. I mean, obviously, I was doing it for my wife and my older son Bo as well, but um, it was extremely difficult at the end of last year to, you know, during the week, I basically was, I mean, which is fine with me. I was not focused on racing at all throughout the week. I would say it was hard to, without a doubt, it was hard to focus on racing while I was at the track. But, the moments heading to the track, my mind was on my mind was on my son. While I was at the track, my mind was on my son. But I was able to find a way, you know, when I knew that rookie was stable and doing well, I would strap into the race car and I can in those moments kind of pull myself back into just being a race car driver for a couple hours. So it was difficult to manage it all, but I just went about it in a way where if I'm going to be here, if I'm going to be at the racetrack, if I'm going to get in this race car, I'm going to drive heavily motivated to do very well for my son. I didn't get to win while he was in the hospital, but my hope was, if I did win a race while he was there, when I'd land after the race and I head straight to the hospital, that I'd be at least able to bring him, the checker flag or a trophy or some confetti from the race car. So yeah, I was able to motivate myself and when I was in the car.
Tyler, we saw Michael Jordan celebrating with you, and many people compared it to his NBA champion celebration. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, to be able to deliver, and win a race like the Daytona 500 for Michael is just, it gives me a lot of it's very gratifying. He has a lot of, going back to me coming to 2311 and driving the 45, he had a lot of belief in what I can bring to a race team. And for me, it's all about every opportunity I have in front of me and available to me to prove him right. Just how much he gives to 2311 as an owner, whether it's the getting the cars to the racetrack part, or being a part of the team discussions, or just being involved as much as he is. Yes, this is his race team, but the connection goes so much further than that. And he does a really good job of, making it known that he's a very well-rounded owner in a lot of ways and really puts himself out there for us, and spends a lot of time apart of what we do.
Okay, and what is your relationship like with Michael Jordan, and what was his message to you after the race?
He was very proud that, with everything that happened throughout the race, it's noted, we only led the last lap in that race, but we had a number of things go against us throughout the race. We pretty much just shook those things off, whether it was, BJ McLeod spinning on lap 10 and getting damage from that, or kind of surviving our way through the crash towards the end of stage two. And then just on top of that, we kind of got off sequence from our Toyota teammates when it was time to pit for the final time in stage three. And we didn't let that shake us. We came up with a new plan. We figured out who we were going to pit with, and we executed it very well. So just our mindset to just keep digging, even though that wasn't on paper the best day for us as a team. So that, yeah, stage one and stage two, I mean, we didn't wreck, but we didn't score a lot of points. So we let it go. We let it's history, and we moved on. Each time that there was a caution or reset, we kept moving on and kept our head focused on what we wanted most, and that was winning the race.
Okay, Tyler, how do you handle the pressure of driving for someone as competitive as Michael Jordan?
I love that kind of pressure, honestly. Again, going back to the very beginning of putting this all together, I knew right from the beginning how much racing means to Michael and how competitive he is and how badly he wants to win on a weekly basis. So, understanding where he's at with it. And I've seen Denny Hamlin as the driver, and I got to know Denny Hamlin as the owner too. It's so for me, the three of us all very much being on the same page about how far we're willing to take things to be successful. And yeah, for me, for me, it's a great fit. You know, when you have people that are that passionate about what they do, especially, you know, when it comes to racing. And, you know, I knew it was going to be a great fit from the very beginning. And, you know, if we could get the right people, you know, gather the right resources, and gain experience as we've done over the last few years, that we're just going to continue to improve. And yeah, 2025 was a tough year for us, but it really set us up to be able to have those hard conversations and understand, you know, look in the mirror and look at each other and understand what we need to address and work on. And to see it turn around this fast with this win is a great start. We know we still got a lot of work in front of us, but we're very motivated to go out there and get the job done.
Okay. And Tyler, with the chase format, this win is huge for you and your postseason hopes. Do you prefer this current format or the whole system?
I really like, you know, for me, you know, in 2024, I won the regular season championship when I ran in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. And I was able to secure one of those as well in that series, and obviously the two championships in the playoff format. So I've kind of lived both sides of it. You know, I think for me as a driver, I really do enjoy the grind and how taxing the weight of, you know, one mistake, you know, with this format can totally ruin your entire season. I love the weight that that kind of pressure can bring. I feel like for us as a team, we thrive in that kind of environment. So I'm very happy about it. You know, I love the fact that if you get out in with a lead early, you can kind of just, you know, step on everyone's throats, right? You can really take advantage of it, you know. And on the other side of it, I've been a part of it where you get in this big hole that just seems like you can never get out of. And you know, when the pressure's on, you start climbing back up out of that hole one, you know, one step at a time. And so for me, I love the pressures that come with, you know, the format that has a larger sample size. So I'm very excited to see what the chase is going to mean this year with where stock car racing is at, NASCAR racing is at with this car.
Okay, next up is Atlanta. Is the goal to go back to back and get that second win immediately?
I mean, I'd say so. You know, I mean, we think are highly enough of ourselves. You know, where everywhere we go, we have opportunities to win. You know, obviously, once the race gets going, things cannot go that way, and you've got to kind of reset what your goals are going to be. But you know, on paper for us, this has been a race that we've consistently um, been in the mix. You know, throughout the race over the years. You know, the last time we were here, I had a very good opportunity to win, and I made some poor decisions towards the end of the race. So, um, yeah, for me over the years here, it seems like we've been right there in the mix when it comes down to the end of this race. We've been able to win stages here in the past. So, um, yeah, you know, have a great opportunity to come out of these first two races that can be so chaotic, and have really good points coming, you know, going into the West Coast swing, going Dakota, Phoenix, and Vegas, where I feel like, you know, we are also extremely strong. So if we have a really good day on Sunday, I mean, we're gonna be setting ourselves up to have a really strong start to the season.
Okay, finally, are you already visualizing yourself holding the championship trophy at the end of the year?
What's that?
Um, are you already visualizing yourself holding the championship
Oh,
trophy
oh,
at the
well,
end of the year? Yes.
you know, you can dream, right? Like I dreamed of winning the Daytona 500 and becoming a Daytona 500 champion. You know, you can dream, and for me, that's the motivator in all this. This is the why. It's to get to the end of the season and have done better than everybody else and be a Cup champion. So, um, it's one race, right? It's one step. There are, you know, many steps that lie in front of us. We have 36 points paying races, and we did a great job in the first one. So one step is down. It's a process. It's about being consistent. It's about taking advantage of the good days and winning like we did Sunday. But on the bad days, you know, when things aren't going your way, what you know, how are you going to handle those situations? And that's something I feel like over the years we've been really good at too. And so I just very excited about what this format means for this 45 team. Oh, you're muted. Muted. You're muted. I can't hear
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry.
There you
Uh,
go. You're good.
okay, thank you so much for your time and good luck in Atlanta.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mantente informado con el Universal y suscríbete a nuestro canal.